Hello everyone, welcome to another new video here on my YouTube channel. Today we're gonna do a bit different kind of a video. I'm gonna go through all of the settings I use on the sim, ranging from pedals, Simucube settings, FOV, iRacing settings, everything. Gonna try and make it as simple as possible. A lot of the settings, I don't even know myself why I have them there. It's just what I've found is best for myself. So yeah, without further ado, let's start off here with the iRacing settings. So, taking a look first of all at the most simple thing that a lot of people wonder how to do is the general cockpit placement or the view out of the car. So, how to place yourself all the way forward, like I have in every GTP. You need to open the camera tool. I think it's Control F12 or something. I have binded a hotkey for it in settings, so I just press 0 and I open the entire camera tool. But yeah, as you can see, you just can move around in here with SD, A, W, anything really, and you can change the entire position. What you have to do after that is just press save car, save it, save track, save it, and you will have it in basically every single car. But yeah, I place myself all the way up on the steering wheel. I get a lot of questions why I do this. It's because I like to have the real life cockpit as a part of the car. So if you see the wheel in the game and in real life, it makes no sense to me. You see it double. So instead, everything that I have here, I see that in real life already. What I don't see is out of the car. So yeah, I try to keep it connected, and that's why I have it like this. Next up, just gonna go into settings. So obviously we have the first page here, the driving page. Wheel range 900 degrees. I never turned that much, but I just have it set like that. Map range 900. Obviously it's calibrated all the inputs here, but we're gonna get into that with the software settings later on. Low tail brake pedal, I have that on. Force factor is, yeah, you can't use that if you have a low tail. 100% max range. Now this is something I guess you could limit in a couple of cars like Porsche Cup or any car with ABS, because if you hit ABS at for example at 85, there would never be a reason to go to 100, so you might as well limit it like right above it, like 90 in that case or anything. But that's very dependent on the car. I changed that a lot. So but yeah, in general 100% it's my max range. The other important things come a bit further down, I guess. Here you can see my driving aids and just all clutch. I have actually no auto engine start on or auto pit speed limiter. I have that binded on my steering wheel, so I don't use any of that. Auto wipers on, auto tear off. It's good if you don't have, or if you forget to bind those buttons in cars that need it, especially in Formula cars, where forgetting to bind a tear off, it could be full of dirt and you can't see anything. Here we come into the driver's view then. I use 0 driver's height centimeters because obviously like I showed you, I place myself in the cockpit however I want. This is actually a new thing. I've been using 179 FOV for a while, but I'm now at 160. Found it a bit more comfortable, a bit more zoomed in on the track. Then we have the shift horizon down here. It's basically how your view is up or down. So I have 2% up, like looking up a bit instead of down. I just like it. Roll chassis, pitch chassis, don't really know what they do. I think they're on default, so I just leave them at 100%. Neck motion, another pretty well, or like a lot of people speak about this one. I wonder how my cockpit is so still all the time, and this is basically what makes your car move when you're inside a cockpit or not. So let's say you have it at 100%, the car's gonna move around a lot. And if you have it at 0%, you're gonna be stuck in the car. And why I like having this low is because in real life, you move with the car. If you go over a bump, the car flies up, but you do as well because you're connected to the seat. So if you're stuck in real life and you never move in real life in my cockpit here, then I wouldn't want to do that in the game either. I feel more connected to it if I have very little neck motion. Now, I would really recommend going up on this for like tracks like Sebring and Road Atlanta with a lot of bumps, because the eyes could literally get hurt by it. It's a lot shaky on tracks like that, stuff like that. So Wheel force feedback down here. Pretty much everything here is just default, I'm pretty sure. The only thing that you can change here probably is the intensity, which I have at 50%. Force feedback strength at 45.7 Newton meters in the BMW. This is in iRacing as well, so as I've said, we're gonna go into Simucube settings later, but 45.7 right here. Around that number is basically what I use in all GTPs. In GT3s, I use slightly higher. All those settings 0, 0, 0. I don't use any iRacing dampening. I do all that in SimHub or Simucube. This is also just something that I've left on default, to be honest. I didn't touch anything on this. All the way down here. Here you can see my audio settings. So, gonna skip the keybinds, nothing really important there. Getting into the interface. Also, this is mostly is preference and replay stuff. You can just copy if you would like it. All this is pretty much default though. Units of measurement, metric. This is just default. Show chat messages while driving is something I turn off because I don't want my focus to shift if someone starts beefing with me mid-race or something. So yeah, have that off. Lap time delta, I use session best lap. It's the best way to compare for me personally. If you use an all-time best lap or whatever, temps could have been way better in previous sessions. Session best lap is what I use for qualifying and first couple of laps of the race, and I might change to session last lap later on if the tires fall down. Better for comparison. And once again, here is just all default really, if you want to copy it. Coming to display settings, my resolution here, I don't entirely remember how I calculated this. I think this is with the bezels, the whole resolution of all my 3 screens. So I have 2560 on one of the screens, times 3, and then plus the bezels. That's my whole length, and that's how I get pretty nice FOV and pretty nicely aligned triples. And then obviously just keeping 1440 for this one as it's the same height on all screens. This is just default, but when we come here though, I don't use full screen and I don't use border. If you turn both those off, that is called windowless border mode or borderless windowed or whatever. It's the easiest way to run with external overlays like caps or race laps. You might lose some FPS from not running full screen, but I don't really care. I really need my overlays and I like it. All those on 0. Gamma brightness and contrast. Monitor. 3 curved screens. Monitor width. You just gotta put your gadgets in here, but this is what I use. Render scene using 3 projections. Yes, I have that on. And I also have this on. Viewing distance to my screen. 660 is also something that I recently changed, millimeters obviously. Have my radius of curvature 1000, and then compute it is when I get 160 FOV now. VR is useless, I don't use it. Coming to another discussed topic, graphic settings. I'm mostly just gonna go through the driving ones here because replay doesn't really matter. You can put it whatever you want or just copy your own driving settings. So I personally like to have a lot of ABS. I don't really give any care to how the game looks. I use low, low, medium, off, 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 purely to get the FPS up. I don't 2-pass trees, high quality trees, off, off. Steering wheel, static, because once again, like my previous logic, if I move the wheel in real life, I don't want it to move in the game as well. I've already moved it, so I used that on static, and then I use an external dashboard. So higher details, mirrors off, on. I think this is default anyway. Virtual mirror FOV, like your mirrors FOV 120. I think this can affect FPS if you have, like, depending on what you have it, but I used to use it at 120. Max cars, I only use 20 again. This has very high CPU usage, and for me it lags a lot more to put like 64 cars, and I would rather not risk having a game crash or anything like that. That's why I use 20. But if your PC can handle it and you would rather be able to see everyone in replay after, put 64 or whatever is max. Coming down on the LOD, only decrease. Shader quality is on medium, because low it looks absolutely terrible. It shaves a lot of FPS, but it's so bad it looks like Roblox. So avoiding that. HDR, I don't know what is on. I always use that off. It's like 320 FPS having it off. So also the sun is a pain, and sometimes with it on you can't see anything. So shadow maps off, saves a lot of FPS. PC F4 filter on the shadow map. Motion blur off on all of those. Saves a lot of FPS. So yeah, I don't use it at all. Screen space reflections, this is something that I have on for the rain. I don't remember why really. I think it helps you see puddles or whatever a bit easier. So that's why I have it on for rain. Anti-aliasing method, I use FXAA. It's what I found most effective for FPS, and MSAA and SMAA makes it look a bit different, but also the FPS can drop or increase depending on that. But I used like FXAA more, to be honest. I limit my frame rate at 180 because that's what my screens are at. No point in using more, and it's easier if you're like if you use like 360 FPS, which I technically could. It might drop off down and have big drops sometimes, which could freeze the screen a bit, I guess. So I keep it at 80. NVIDIA Reflex Boost, and those two on. That's the graphic settings. Hopping over to audio, can just copy this. I've changed quite a lot here. Ambient and the wind is probably the main ones that I've just turned off completely. Yeah, like any race cars I drove in real life, Radicals, Clio, TCR, I've never heard the wind. So I've just turned that off. I don't know why that even is a thing. Ambient you do hear, but oh, actually you don't. That's also why I've turned it off. Like, I don't want to hear birds when I'm driving. This is just default, all of it. Voice chat. This is something that I usually have off, but I need it on for some of the leaks that I do. Evra, for example. Nothing binded here, really. And everything else is just default, really, I think. ESPORT volume is -10. But yeah, that is the iRacing settings. I tried to do it as quick as possible, but also I want to, you know, include everything if you want to copy all of it. Now let's get into the Simucube settings next, where you can see my force feedback. Here we are then on the Simucube software page, I guess you could say. So just like in iRacing, I have steering range at 900 max, and then you can see I'm using max strength. All of that raw force feedback you can get out of the actual software. I want all of that. I don't know if it could cause any delay, like using minimum here and then max in iRacing or whatever. I just like to have access to all of it. Mechanical feel, I use 35 on the dampening here, 500. Smoothness off, 0-1 on the slew rate, unlimited torque bandwidth. Going down into the advanced. Now I don't really know why I've put all of those settings, and I might have copied some from other profiles as well, but yeah, this is what I use. 0-0, 100 on torque linearity. Bump stop feel is soft. Bump stop range is 900, just like my steering range, so that's where the wheel stops. So yeah, I don't know why really, but I use it like that. Notch filter off, and then 0 on all game effects. So nothing really major here, I would say. Obviously have high torque mode on. Driving without that is super weird for me. And then settings here. Don't think anything here really affects how it feels, but this is how I use it. Yeah, I think that's everything for Simucube. So let's get into my pedal settings now. Right, here we are in the brightest software on earth, in the Husingveld Smart Control. It's what I use for my Husingveld Ultimate Plus pedals. Now this is a pretty talked topic in my Discord community channel, especially. Gonna go over to the clutch immediately, where I have small dead zone, 5%, nothing else. You can see I'm using linear mode on all of the inputs. It's the easiest way to trail brake in for me personally. And yeah, getting over to the brake. Now this is pretty non-normal. A lot of people on the pro scene use a lot more kilos than this. I don't know. I don't have a single teammate who uses this low max force. But for me, it's just way easier to control every level of the brake. I have a way easier time hitting like 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, 70%. Like I can go wherever I want pretty quickly with this pressure. And then I have the pedal quite soft, but as my max force is very low, it's like I don't have to travel that far on the pedal to reach 100%. So yeah, that's why I have it at 34 kilos. Elastometer is at hard. I have no bottom dead zone because I think those last percentages on the bottom is very important to be able to control. It can help find that extra bit of time, and using a dead zone here. Obviously, you might need to use a dead zone if you're like at like 8% all the time. The pedal is like not calibrated properly, but I try to not use a dead zone on the brake. It's very important to try and have a comfortable last bit of the braking into every corner. Throttle, I use quite a lot of dead zone here on the top, because in endurance races, especially when you get tired, or IMSA races, whenever, it's very easy for me to like think that this is max throttle, but you can see it's clearly not. I never really press, like this is like max for me to press, and you can see I'm still not really reaching all of it. So I use a bit of a top dead zone. Almost nothing on the bottom once again, same reason as on the brake, because the pedals, personally, I don't think they are for resting your foot on, you know? You use them for technique, so you want to be able to control that like absolute beginning as much as you can. And it's why it's for me personally a lot easier in GTP, especially to control the car out of the corners. But yeah, that's basically it. That is all of the settings that I use for the sim. Now, I do use a couple of different things for overlays and stuff. The steering wheel itself, sim hub to light up my dash and all of that stuff. But everything else is pretty much default. I don't optimize my windows or anything for more FPS out of the game. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know what I can do better for the next one. I just wanted to show all my graphic settings and every setting I have basically for this video, as I have had a lot of requests on doing it, and there's a lot of talk about it in my Discord constantly, so hopefully this helps to anyone wondering. But other than that, I will see you in the next video. Have a good one, and yeah, peace out.